Hola!
Hola!
Yo soy Sophie.
Y yo soy Rachel.
And we're both third year students of Spanish and French, currently on our year abroad placements in Uruguay at the moment.
Cabo Polonio to be exact.
Yeah.
And we're going to tell you why we should run your society next year.
Yeah. First of all, one of the most important sides of a society is the social side. And one of the things we'd like to introduce would be a society ball, not only for the Spanish and Latin American department, but also for the language departments in general. We feel that other societies and departments, especially medics, geographers, lawyers, they tend to have lots of social events, you know, parties on boats and balls and stuff like that, and we feel that the language departments lack in that area, so we'd like to introduce a languages ball in the first term.
Prove to the medics that we can party as hard as they do.
Exactly.
Something else that we're keen to introduce would be some events at lunchtimes, because we found as first year students, given the limited contact hours that you have as a language student, it was quite hard to get to know other people doing your kind of course, because people would go home, and so we'd like to organise things at lunchtime to encourage people to stay around on campus, and you know, if people are bored and don't necessarily want to go to the library. So we plan to offer language classes for all levels, for language students and non-language students. Dance classes, samba, compañera, flamenco, samba, and also maybe some cooking classes. We have a very particular Diego Flores Jaime in the Spanish department who has a particular way of making guacamole. Not sure if any of you have seen the Como hacer guacamole video, but we're hoping to get a live performance or two out of him.
The other thing we like to introduce is maybe once or twice a year abroad meeting, get together. We know that the departments do organise them themselves, but we'd like to have it more based on travelling in general. For example, the two of us have been travelling for a couple of months in South America, and most people, when they go on their year abroad, they do tend to do some travelling in between or throughout the countries where they're staying. So we'd like to do sort of information presentations, photos, give students tips on where there are good places to go.
And that would be for anyone interested in travelling, not just you.
As well as answer any questions on year abroad in general.
And another thing we think would be great fun would be to have a country-themed dinner party on a monthly basis. So for example, if we were to have a Brazil themed night, there'd be samba music, there'd be carnival themed fancy dress. We'd have homemade feijoada made by our Brazilian friends who live in London. We'd have caipirinhas to drink, we'd have guava beer, and then potentially head on to guarabara or bar salsa, depending on what we're feeling. And finally, as well as all this exciting things, we'd like to recognise the key events in Hispanic calendar. So when it was carnival time in Latin America, it would be carnival time in the Spanish and Latin American society. Dia de los Muertos in Mexico, Love Parade in Chile, La Tomatina. We'd like to kind of recognise that and organise something alongside. And we'd also hope to organise trips. So maybe we could do a trip to La Tomatina, we could do a trip to Granada, Barcelona. We'd hope to do maybe one or two a year, depending on interest levels.
Yeah. The other idea we've had, which we think is something really interesting and new for the society, would be to get involved with some charities and NGOs, principally based in London, but some overseas as well, to give students volunteering opportunities which would benefit them culturally and academically. For example, I'm currently doing a volunteering placement in Argentina, Buenos Aires, just for a month, with a charity called Voluntario Global, which helps children learning English, helping children who live in orphanages. It's just a support network, basically. We also have another friend who's going to Costa Rica, and she's working for a women's shelter there. There's another charity which we've been researching called Task Brazil, which is based in London, and who help. It's a charity to do with their street children in Brazil. So these are just a few ideas which we've come up with, but we think it would benefit obviously students and the charities themselves.
And finally, given that there's going to be all this exciting stuff going on, we think that the creation of an independent society website would be a great addition to the society. We plan to promote some sort of webmaster, because we're not that technologically minded. But
at all.
The but the website would have all the information about upcoming events planned, like by the society, but also things offered by the Cervantes Institute, by the local embassies, things going on at UCL, such as the Festival of the Moving Image. And we'd also hope to create some sort of forum online so that students on their year abroad that were once members of the society would be able to have some sort of support network and also be able to feedback and provide up-to-date kind of tips, travel information. Yeah, but we just think that, websites way forward.
Yeah.
So
If you like our ideas, we're really keen.
and we'd love you to vote for us.
Thank you.
Ciao!